Welcome to the Matt Wilkie podcast.
Why do I think the people of the Philippines are still behind Duterte? With all the media pushing the fact that there's excessive killings. The first one would have to be that although they're pushing the fact of all these killings, one of the things they aren't mentioning is how many of them are normal. There has been links to the ones with masking tape, for example, to cartels, which means those same killings would have happened anyway. I would also say, though, that statistic-wise, I've heard from multiple people now, I haven't actually got the data, that the number of deaths has actually decreased from murders, etc. Which does hazard the question that if so many people are currently locked up and the deaths that have happened have actually helped reduce the number of deaths of normal civilians, has he actually had a negative or positive impact on the country? Because one of the things people complain about is the number of people in prison cells, because obviously the prisons are overflowing with prisoners, but I know before prisons were overflowing with prisoners. It's not new. This is the big thing. You have to remember a lot of this already existed. It's not new. The prisons are over capacity and have been for as long as I can remember, because Cebu prison used to be in, I think it's called the Cebu Museum. That was the original prison. They then moved it up to where you see the Cebu inmates doing all the Michael Jackson dances and stuff. But previously, it was on that other site, and I believe that Cebu Museum site housed 1,500 prisoners. So these problems are not new. There has been questions about the amount of budget that's been spent. That's another questionable thing, because if you're stemming corruption, it's going to come with a short-term cost. The question should be, is it going to help long-term? Overhauling the agriculture and other industries, is this going to help the Philippines long-term? Sorting out the police corruption and sorting out the customs, excise, and also local government offices, will this actually help the Philippines? I think at the moment it's too early to say, because reality is, if corruption was reduced and if the markets were opened up to more free market with other companies from other countries, doesn't even need to be the West even, if they actually get more foreign investment, then I believe it would help the Philippines significantly. At the forefront of the Philippines is the cost of labour, and also the fact that they have a lot of native English speakers. What needs to happen, though, is something that will actually encourage people to come to the Philippines business-wise. And that isn't going to happen until some of the regulations and laws that restrict access to trade and business for foreign investment happens. Quite simply, there's no point doing business in a country that doesn't want you there. If you take it from the perspective of they want to own the business and they just want you to put the money in it, etc., then it's sort of like saying, okay, we don't want your business, we just want your money. Or we want you to set the business up and we control it. Those things need to change, because if they don't, it ain't going to make much difference to the Philippines overall. But I can see it coming. One of the anti-Western worries, I suppose, is that the relationship between Duterte and China may be stronger than it is with the West. I would question this because I think it's too early to say. At the moment, I think there's been too much political media that's just been spinning the negativity. It hasn't actually pushed from both sides to give an overall view, because with an overall viewpoint you can get a balanced idea of what's going on. If you're constantly being told that, oh, look at this, there's murders, there's they're going after politicians, there's going to be martial law, etc., then you're not actually getting the overall view that actually turns around and says, well, hang on a minute, has anything actually improved? Oh, the death numbers are down. Okay. So putting all those people in jail and hunting down the criminals has had a positive effect. But they don't. They just push the fact that there's been a lot of deaths. But you also don't get the comparison from things before. What has positively changed since Duterte is taking power in such a short time frame? Because so far we're seeing a few politicians being named and shamed along with police, and I can see it slowly expanding out, because for so long so many got away with it openly. Let's not beat about the bush. Big houses, big cars, etc., and on a pay salary which is less than probably a school leaver in the UK getting their first job. It doesn't add up, does it? You know, it's got to give somewhere, and I think the problem is now is they're suddenly starting to see that things are catching up with them. We'll see where it goes. What I do recommend, though, is just giving it 6 months. Right now, it's in the overdrive, just taking power, moving things forward, and quite swiftly, things seem to be moving as people start getting defensive with the politicians and use media might. But I don't think it has any negative impact in a sense with the supporters for the Philippines in the population, because everybody I've spoken to has said things are better. Not just in Cebu, but in other areas, they've said things are better, things have improved. There's less crime, there's less risks, they don't feel they're scared going out at night. There is a change that has happened. But I've also heard it before from people, different people, mine, that said that it was much safer under Marcos. Which obviously we know the history of Marcos relating to money, gold, and other things. But people generally felt safer, which is why some people may think overall things look bad, but at a local level things also look very good. Thanks for listening.